Well, in our first story, the bipartisan parliamentary committee probing the leaked audio tape is set to resume hearings today, October 10. Now, the committee, chaired by Ibuakwa South MP Samuel Atachia, has so far interrogated all witnesses in the saga. Duke Mensopoku has been looking at what is likely to happen.
The committee, after what seems like a very long break, not more than 3 weeks, will resume its hearings or meetings. We can't say for sure whether there will be public hearings because the last time they met, where Bugri Nabu, the originator of the tape, was re-examined, that was held in camera. That meeting also in attendance had the National Security Minister and all the others with the exception of the IGP. But the media were not allowed into that meeting. It was later on that the media was briefed by the chairman of the committee, lawyer attached, and we don't know if that is the format that the committee is going to take till it ends its work. What we do know, however, is that the direction the committee will take will be to re-examine the witnesses in the light of the new evidence, which is the fuller and comprehensive tape, as the chairman of the committee, Atachian, likes to refer to it. And also there will be a reassessment of the evidence so far before the committee, after which the committee would then begin to prepare its report for presentation to the Speaker. The chairman has said that they do not want to belabor the point. They do not want the country to chew over this plot, alleged plot, involving the head of internal security, that's the police in the country. So they would, as much as possible, try and do their work with dispatch and submit their report to the committee. So they will resume their meetings and their sittings from Tuesday.
Now, the embattled former Director General of Police Operations, COP Alex Mensah, retired, has vowed to spill the beans when he returns to the parliamentary committee probing the leaked tape on the Inspector General of Police. He spoke exclusively to Kemini Amano ahead of the committee sitting today, Tuesday, October 10.
When we went to the committee, we said the tape has been edited. And the chairman of the committee came out to say that, yes, the tape has been edited.
Well,
it seems to me, you said allegedly.
It seems to me you're in a hurry to be vindicated.
Of course, I'll be vindicated. I know.
We'll see how that goes.
I know what happened.
You know what happened?
Yes.
What happened?
I'm not ready to say it here because it is before a committee.
So let's talk about some of the things that we have heard at the committee hearing. You have admitted that your voice was on the tape.
I will be happy if you drop what is going on before the committee, because it's a parliamentary select committee which was initiated by the Speaker of Parliament. And I don't want to do anything that will be...
That will preempt the sitting. No, we're not going to preempt the sitting.
Let's drop that and then go to other things.
What I want to clarify is based on my previous question.
That?
About allegedly you being on that tape. Now, what I want to know is you have admitted that that meeting happened. You have admitted that part of those tape that we have heard is you.
Yes, of course.
Why did that?
And there were truths.
There were truths.
None of the things in the tape was a lie.
Okay.
Or what I said the truth. And I will say it again anywhere. But I'm not ready to discuss it here, as I said. Because it's before a committee.
Right.
And I hope you wait when the committee finishes their work and comes out with their report.
Right.
Then everybody will know the truth.
Indeed. So, again, I'll just come back to, what we've heard so far from the committee hearing real quick. At the hearing, we hear you, again, talk about how poorly you think the current IGP is running and managing the police service. First, I'd like you to elaborate on that. But I'll also ask you, if you have worked under the IGP for the last few years, maybe several even, and you have kept all of these things still while you're in the service, it's easy for someone to conclude that you were embittered against the man.
That is somebody's conclusion. But you know why I will not elaborate? Because I was asked the same question at the committee, and I told them that I will do that in camera. So I cannot come and do that here. You understand? Yes. Something that I told the committee that I would do that in camera. That is why the committee has now moved in camera. So why should I come and say those things here?
But a few things that you said.
A
few things that you said.
There,
I just want to remind
I've said
you.
It already.
I'll remind you of those things that you said. You talked about how some POMAB members were not invited. The Police Management Board were not invited to meetings. You also spoke about how he was gagging everyone else in the police service. He's come out to explain that the reason he had done centralizing communication was so sanity will persist within the service. Is that a reason he's given you before, since you said you've confronted him with some of those things already?
I'm happy that you are reminding me of what I said. What I said, I've said it already. I need not repeat it anywhere. You understand? Yes.
No, I'm not asking you to repeat. What I'm asking you is whether or not, because again, at the committee hearing, you mentioned that this is something you had told the IGP yourself because you're a very candid man. What was his response to you back then? His response? Yes.
No, that's something I will not say it here. It's something I will say it at the committee.
Well, moving on to some more stories, aggrieved customers of defunct Gold Coast Fund Management Company are to begin a 3-day picketing at the Ministry of Finance from today, October 10. The protest is to press on the Finance Minister, Ken Ofori-Atta, to authorize the release of some 8.6 billion cedis bailout package approved by the legislature for their members. Gold Coast Fund Management Company has its license revoked by the Security and Exchange Commission in November 2019. Now, 4 years down the line, the over 30,000 customers are yet to receive their locked-up funds, despite government assurance. Spokesperson of the group, Charles, says the members are bent on ensuring they get what is due them. Now, leadership of Democracy Hub and Fix the Country say they will return to the streets throughout the month of December to demand the resignation of the president. The two groups are accusing the president of incompetence while supervising a government of friends, family and concubines.
It was described largely as a successful 3-day protest by Democracy Hub and Fix the Country. The three groups say they will, come December, stage a 31-day protest against the current administration. According to the leadership of Fix the Country and Democracy Hub, the decision to resort to yet another protest stems from the fact that the current administration continues to do very little to address the concerns which forced them onto the street in September. The group argues the president, through his stewardship, has exhibited incompetence, corruption, and a clear disregard for human rights and the abuse of citizens and persons pushing for change within the current dispensation. The 31-day protest, which will be themed Occupy Julobi and Just Resign, according to the group, is aimed at forcing the president to resign from his position, or they have Parliament impeach him. They are further demanding the prosecution of corrupt individuals and persons they believe are in close ties with the current administration, perpetrating harm against the country. The group says they will be picketing at the frontage of the Jubilee House, hoping to get access to the place this time round, and stressing that they will provide extensive guidelines for all persons who may want to be a part of their 31-day protest.
Well, still on the subject, convener of the Democracy Hub group, Oliver Baka says they will only call off their protests at the Jubilee House only when the president, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, resigns. The group says from the 1st to the 31st of December, they will undertake a protest in a bid to ensure president steps down from the office due to the current economic hardship in the country.
One of the things that we have been consistently talking about is that one of the corrective mechanisms for improving our democracy can come from the voices of the streets and mobilizing ordinary people to be able to push our political class on some of the things that they have taken us for granted on. Now, you would agree that for the past 2 years, the country and democracy have been very consistent in demanding and bringing young people onto the streets to demand changes to our democracy. And as I see, the political class are completely tone deaf. I have zero interest in taking us seriously. Now, we are mounting on the consistency of our actions and also our persistence to show that these are not fleeting demands, but that we are actually demanding for substantive reform to our way of life. Now, in other democracies, for instance, in the US, for instance, Trump has been impeached, was impeached without any street protests. In our place, for instance, because there's such a disconnect between those who claim to lead us and we, the citizens, they would not do anything at all. And we know that power conceals nothing without demand. So we are demanding, we are knocking on the doors. And one of the things that we have said is that, listen, the protest can end in a day. It doesn't have to do all 31 days. As long as the first gentleman of the Republic resigns, we'll call off the protest. And so we're showing up and staying there till he resigns or by 31st of December. And if it doesn't, we'll go back and revise our notes.
Right. So bottom line, the President of the Republic, Nana Akufo-Addo, should resign and leave office, or you would use Parliament or go through Parliament to impeach him. That's the end game you have in mind.
Yes, absolutely. We think that when persons who have been given stewardship of our democracy so misuse and abuse the people's mandate, then the people must speak and take back that mandate. If we believe in a constitutional ideal that our democracy or the sovereignty relies on the people, then the people are entitled to call back the president. And so this is an attempt to recall a gentleman who has completely failed in that office and has impoverished Ghanaian lives, has jeopardized our democracy much more than ever before, and has brought us to the brink of where many people are openly calling for a coup d'etat. We think that removal of the president can be achieved constitutionally.
Okay.
And this is our belief and this is our demand in this era. We don't want any project that jeopardizes our democracy, and the whole republic cannot be sacrificed for the ego of one gentleman. Listen, 16 years of our lives have been wasted on the Fourth Republic. To think that to demand of young Ghanaians to come onto the streets and make their voices heard for 30 days is a waste, then we do not actually cherish this democracy, and we don't want to see our lives improve. The idea that media houses can interview somebody who's lying on a hospital bed complaining about dialysis machine and die a few days later, and there's no civic uproar, tell us that we are continuing to devalue our lives and our responsibility to lead meaningful lives. We want a different democracy. And if it takes coming onto the street to demand it, that is what resisting oppressors' rule means when we chant and sing it.
Okay.
So when we are called upon to show our citizenship, this is not a point where we say that I have better things doing. If we have better things doing, then we have no responsibility, or we have no right to demand that our lives improve.
Now let's head to the Occupy Bank of Ghana demonstration, and the majority leader, Osei Mensah-Bonsu, says the minority could have invited the governor of the Bank of Ghana to Parliament to explain matters relating to the loss of 60.2 billion cedis, among others, instead of the street protest. He tells TV3 in an interview that after the protest against the governor, it will be difficult for his side to support the minority if they should come with a motion in the House.
Minority MPs in Parliament have called for the Bank of Ghana governor and his 2 deputies to resign due to issues such as a loss of 60.2 billion cedis and mismanagement. The MPs and other groups hit the streets to demand that the 3 central bank officials resign after public engagements and news conferences. But the majority leader, Osei Mensah-Bonsu, says the minority MPs jumped the cut and cannot guarantee his side's support.
They are members of Parliament. We could have invited the governor to come and talk to issues that are not clear to us. You go on a demonstration, you organize a press conference against them, what you think is happening within the corridors, and then you go on a demonstration. Then you come back to Parliament to move a motion. Do you want me to support that? Now you have made up your mind that whatever has been done by them is inappropriate, you're not going to countenance it, you bring him. So if he comes to explain, are you going to take it or jettison it? That, oh, I've made up my mind, don't convince me with facts.
Some of the minority MPs claimed the governor was invited to Parliament multiple times, but he failed to attend. But the majority leader deemed this untrue.
And Estadison is a coward. And we had stated earlier on that we were sure he won't show up. Because, I mean, for 7 years, I've been on the Public Accounts Committee. The Public Accounts Committee invites the Bank of Ghana at least twice a year. He's appeared only 3 times in 7 years, so it's not strange.
I don't know what he's saying. I don't know of that. You don't go out there and throw dust into the eyes of the people and give a dog a bad name to hang it. It's not right.
The legislators appear divided even before the House resumes for the matter to be tabled. But is this the best course of action? Evelyn Tinkma, TV3 News, Accra.
Now, on the international front, Liberians go to the polls today with the incumbent president, George Weah, seeking a second 6-year term as president. The incumbent is coming up against 19 other candidates, the presidency, including former Vice President Joseph Baka, businessman Alexander Cummins, and human rights lawyer Tiawan Ganglo. Now, these 3 contenders have pledged to set up the court if elected, though some have expressed doubts about Baka's commitment, given his alliance with former warlord Prince Johnson, now a 7 senator. Now, some Liberians say that they are disappointed in the current government for failing to set up an economic and war crimes court to look into the Liberian civil war. And that's all for the 6 a.m. news here on TV3. My name is Judith Brown. We'll take a short break and we'll be back with New Day.